Get ready for the action because the Sixers had an improved regular season and an up-and-down playoff run, but now an interesting offseason awaits. We dive deep into how Joel Embiid and the team navigated that roller coaster ride, from the first-round upset against the Celtics to the crushing sweep by the New York Knicks. Find out what this means for the future of the Philadelphia franchise.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at a controversial moment that sparked a huge debate. Joel Embiid bringing his son, Arthur, to the press conference after the 76ers were eliminated by the Knicks. We break down the reaction from Nick Wright, who argued that bringing children to these crucial moments after a loss should not be allowed. This is a conversation you need to hear about right now. Then we tackle the massive question of the future. Can the Philadelphia 76ers reset their roster? We examine the tough decision of whether to trade Joel Embiid, weighing his contract, his health, and the potential of building around Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. We explore the complex financial and on-court calculus behind this potential seismic shift. Finally, we look at the bigger picture, including the ongoing discussions about Embiid's future with the organization and the broader implications of superstar behavior in the modern NBA. Don't miss this full breakdown. Stay tuned, because we are bringing you the most explosive news every single day. The Philadelphia 76ers concluded a turbulent season marked by an improved regular season and a volatile playoff run, culminating in a devastating second-round sweep by the New York Knicks. The team managed a 45-win regular season and secured a first-round upset against the Boston Celtics, but ultimately fell short, losing to the Knicks 144-114. During the final moments of Game 4, star center Joel Embiid engaged with teammates, signaling a desire to savor final moments despite the team's collapse. Embiid publicly acknowledged the Knicks' superiority, stating, "They were just better than us in everything." The season was a stark contrast to previous years, where the team struggled with efficiency, rebounding, and depth, evidenced by an average offensive rating of 16th and a defensive rating of 17th. However, the team showed resilience, particularly in their comeback victory against Boston. Forward Tyrese Maxey characterized the season as a step in the right direction, highlighting the growth of young teammates. Maxey, who achieved a second All-Star appearance and ranked 5th in the NBA in scoring, and rookie VJ Edgecombe, who was highly rated as Rookie of the Year, emerged as key assets. Maxey led the league in minutes per game, while Edgecombe was a high-impact rookie. Despite the overall performance, the Sixers explored roster moves, converting contracts for players like Jabari Walker and Dominic Barlow. However, the deadline trade of guard Jared McCain to the Oklahoma City Thunder proved to be an inflection point, as McCain immediately showed impact in the Thunder's playoff rotation. Embiid's health remained a central narrative. After suffering an oblique strain and a recent appendectomy, Embiid expressed significant confidence in his ability to manage his knee and be available for future seasons, stating, "I thought I was done. That's the best way to put it. Then I found something. And we found something, as a group, to figure it out." The offseason presents complex questions for the franchise. With Embiid and Paul George holding significant contracts, trade flexibility is limited due to their health. Furthermore, there is ongoing speculation regarding the relationship between Embiid and the front office, particularly concerning luxury tax decisions and recent public statements. Looking ahead, the Sixers' path to contention remains uncertain, with the organization acknowledging the need for continued development of young talent and emphasizing team cohesion. Despite the season's disappointing end, Coach Nick Nurse praised the team's hard work and camaraderie, suggesting that the team must now decompress before navigating another challenging offseason. Joel Embiid faced criticism after bringing his son to a post-game press conference following the Philadelphia 76ers elimination by the New York Knicks in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Embiid was seen comforting his son, Arthur, during the conference, which prompted commentary from sports analysts regarding the appropriateness of the gesture. FS1's host Nick Wright voiced his disapproval on Monday, stating that bringing children to press conferences after losses should not be permitted. Wright argued that while he appreciates the modern NBA's focus on fatherhood and including athletes' families, there should be a clear boundary, especially during crucial press conferences where athletes discuss their future with the team. Wright suggested that having a child present can inadvertently shield an athlete from difficult or uncomfortable questions that are central to the purpose of such sessions. Wright acknowledged that other stars' children are frequently present at these events, citing examples like Steph Curry's daughter, Riley. However, he maintained his stance that after a season-ending loss, an athlete should not have their child present. "I'm not picking on Embiid because he is not the only guy to do it. But I don't think after season-ending losses when you're talking about your future with the team that you should have your kid on your lap," Wright concluded. The 76ers were decisively swept by the Knicks in Game 4, with the Knicks delivering a 144-114 performance to close out the series. Embiid contributed 24 points in the final game, shooting an 8 for 8 from the field. Despite reaching the conference semifinals, the 76ers face scrutiny over their early playoff exit, as Philadelphia has not reached the Eastern Conference Finals since 2001. Joel Embiid's future with the Philadelphia 76ers is at a critical juncture, with speculation mounting that a major roster overhaul may be necessary following a disappointing playoff exit. After overcoming a deficit to defeat the Boston Celtics in the first round, Philadelphia was swept in round 2 by the New York team, leading to intense scrutiny over the team's direction, particularly concerning general manager Daryl Morey and head coach Nick Nurse. The central question facing the Sixers is whether they can reset their roster. A teardown aimed at building around Tyrese Maxey and Edgecombe inevitably brings up the possibility of trading Joel Embiid. Given Embiid's massive, multi-year contract, a 3-year, $187.9 million extension averaging $62.6 million annually, and his health concerns, trading him outright without attaching significant assets is challenging under current collective bargaining agreement rules. However, the argument for trading the MVP is complex. While Embiid is undeniably the team's best player when healthy, the Sixers might be better served by running it back, ideally with a new GM focused on improving team margins and bench depth. The team demonstrated enough talent to contend, suggesting a lack of depth rather than a fundamental failure. Potential trade scenarios are being analyzed. For instance, trading Embiid and picks for quality contributors on more manageable contracts could be a coherent strategy. One potential package involves the Bucks, which could trade Embiid for Miles Turner, trading a high-cost center for a more manageable contract, while the Sixers gain depth with players like Bobby Portis Jr. and Adem Bona. This trade could allow Milwaukee to solidify its championship aspirations. Another compelling scenario involves the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they fail to advance past San Antonio, an interest exists in a trade for Embiid, potentially pairing him with Anthony Edwards to create a formidable offensive mismatch. This move could alleviate pressure on Edwards and offer Minnesota a future pick, even if it means sacrificing their traditional defensive anchor, Rudy Gobert, for a more palatable financial situation for Philadelphia. Conversely, the Sixers could consider trading Embiid for Jimmy Butler, a move that would clear significant salary, though Butler's age and role as a non-spacer present challenges. A core featuring Butler, Maxey, Edgecombe, and Paul George could still compete in the East, offering a hard-nosed, competitive unit. Ultimately, the decision hinges on whether Philadelphia prioritizes a full rebuild or a strategic pivot. The narrative suggests that while Embiid's talent is irreplaceable, the team may need to evolve to sustain long-term success, with the path forward involving significant leadership and strategic roster adjustments. Nick Wright has called for a ban on superstars bringing their children to press conferences following playoff losses, arguing that the practice shields athletes from difficult questions. Wright specifically cited Joel Embiid, who brought his son Arthur to the post-game press conference after the Philadelphia 76ers Game 4 loss to the New York Knicks. Wright suggested that the presence of a child, whether intentional or not, serves to shield the player from uncomfortable inquiries, which is the very purpose of these media sessions. Wright stated, "Bringing children to press conferences after losses should not be allowed." He acknowledged that he supports the NBA's positive portrayal of fatherhood, but contended that having a child present after a season-ending loss detracts from a player's ability to address fans with clarity. Wright noted that while some stars like Steph Curry or Jason Tatum's children have appeared with them in victories, the context of a loss changes the dynamic. He believes these conferences should be limited to a short duration, such as 15 minutes, allowing players to focus on addressing the fanbase before returning to their offseason. The call for restriction on this behavior has gained attention, with related commentary appearing on platforms like Awful Announcing.